Hello my friends, today we are diving into the mysterious Voynich Manuscript, which is a historical document that has botany and astrology and recipes and writing and baths and has all these different codexes that has sort of baffled people in time and historically. Today we're taking a look at the Voynich Puzzle, which is a board game based on that. So let's show you how it works. I'll see you on the other side. Before I get to the moment you've been waiting for, I wanted to tell you about the Sell Trade program at Noble Knight Games. Now, as gamers, we all have games that are cluttering our shelves that we either don't have the right group for or might even not like it. Well, now you can turn those unappreciated games into cash or store credit. Noble Knight Games buys thousands of games and gaming products. It's easy to send them a list of the games that you'd like to sell or trade. Now they'll send you a quote and even pay for the shipping of the games. Get treated and paid like royalty while you sit back and collect cash or store credit. To get started, click the link in the description of this video or in that upper right corner there, and then click the Sell Trade button. The Voynich Puzzle is all about the Voynich Manuscript and the different parts of those, like the botany pages and the astrology pages and the baths pages, but also the writing pages and the recipes pages. Each player gets a book of their color, and in this book are going to be 2 pages of each of those types of manuscripts. So we have the botany, the astrology, and these are all random. So each game you're going to have different types of actions that you're going to have for each of the different sections of the manuscript. Now over the course of the game you're also going to be upgrading these pages because they start all on the first section of the page, the sort of outline. And as you do things, you're going to be able to upgrade this to get a little further into the drawing, then get to a 3rd level, and then finally get to a 4th level, and you'll be doing this in your book. And upgrading is done by having research in different spots of the Voynich puzzle. For example, in this case, having a research token on 2 adjacent botany, which is the green type of puzzle tiles. Over the course of the game, players are going to be taking actions to add puzzle pieces to this. And in this case, if this player had that upgrade, they were on 2 of these, they could upgrade that page. And that would be taking this and flipping the page, giving yourself a better version of that action that was on the first side, and giving you starting to get some end game goals, like having knowledge in the writing is going to get you more and more points, even though these pages are about baths, so everything is interconnected. For example, if I upgraded this all the way to the 4th level, the highest level, I'm going to get 4 times the points that my knowledge got by on the writing. Because each section of the manuscript you'll have a scoring token for. So here it has gotten past 6. So if this is the way my page was, I upgraded the 4th page of this specific one, 4 times that, that's going to get me 24 general knowledge or overall knowledge at the end of the game, which is the main way to score. So you're going to be scoring at the end of the game depending on how much you've upgraded and how far you've moved down on the score track for that specific section of the manuscript. Now the main board is comprised of all of the different sections, the puzzle pieces we saw, but we also have botany, astrology, writing, recipes, and baths, and each of these are its own little mini game that you're going to be taking the actions on from the pages I showed you. For example, you might be placing water or leaves by using the botany action or moving them. And you might be moving them up branches and over to get things like 6 knowledge in botany, which will move your botany up. And if you do end up moving it past a puzzle research piece, and you can select a piece off the side of the board, like L for green, and I'll place it here as a piece. So players are collectively creating the grid of the puzzle pieces, and many actions are having you move your research token on a certain spot. As you can see, you need researches on specific spots in order to upgrade your pages, which before you remove them in order to do that. Now, generally speaking, you have to place puzzle pieces next to other puzzle pieces, but this was initially set up as a 2-player game, and some things were seated far out on the board. I'm not going to show you the details of all of the different sides of the manuscript, but essentially you're going to be taking actions in each of these spaces and generally getting knowledge, moving pieces around, and affecting other parts of the manuscript. But I will say many of them are thematic, like water's flowing, pushing things down, people are getting upgrades. There's a lot of player interactivity in the game. The one thing I will show you is the recipes is different, is where you actually take pieces that you've placed on other sections of the manuscript to move them here, opening up those spots for you to go again or for other players as well. Again, huge interactivity. So in addition to upgrading the right pages to get the right endgame goals, but then moving up the right different tracks in order to score those points, and scoring points in other ways, like when you complete research to upgrade pages, you're going to be getting the points in the row and the column. Those are straight overall knowledge points. Because at the end, whoever has the most overall knowledge is going to be the winner. Before I get to the moment you've been waiting for, I wanted to let you know that Game Toppers is giving 15% off premium game mats and accessories specifically to my US and Canada audience using code GameBoyGeek15 off for a limited time only. Hear more about this at the end of my final thoughts. Now this did make my top 10 most anticipated games of in Essen. If you missed that video, you can see it up there. And the game itself, first of all, it's beautiful. It looks nice. The art on the cards, the way that it's sort of hand-drawn and they slowly get colored in as you upgrade things. The board just looks pretty. Everything about the game just looks really nice. Now, when it comes to gameplay, the books is awesome. For the action selection, where you're flipping the pages and you're trying to decide which one to go to. It just works so well in that little book there. It's so cool having your own little book. It takes a little bit of time for setup and tear down, but it's worth it because it just looks really cool. The action selection is cool. Open it up to a different page from your last action and maybe upgrade and then take one of the two actions, then possibly add a puzzle piece, then possibly upgrade, things like that. But it's really, really cool. I can say that, it's not often that I'm playing games these days where I'm like, wow, this game is like nothing I've ever played before. It's hard to say that these days because there's so many games released every year and we play so many of them. This one feels fresh. It feels unique. I kept using the word fascinating as I've been playing this game because it's just so different. I like that there's sort of 6 mini games and the mechanisms of each of them are different, but they're not like crazy side games that all require their own rule book. Like it's, oh, this does this and then this, you go here, you go there. Okay, I get this one. Now this one's slightly different. You do this, and this. Okay. And so they all sort of connect together, and I think that's cool that they all sort of work differently. The interconnected sections, the way that things are interconnected is just so interesting because it's like the points of astrology. You get points on astrology by upgrading your botany, right? And so it's like, okay, well, if I'm scoring a lot of knowledge of astrology and I'm moving that marker way up, well, I'm going to want to upgrade my botany cards in order to maximize those points at the end, and they're sort of linked in that way. Okay, so if I'm moving up astrology, how do I now make sure I upgrade? Okay, to upgrade the astrology, the botany, I got to do this, and this, and now that derives your strategy is like, how am I getting these puzzle pieces out there? Where am I placing them? How am I getting my research on the board to the puzzles? How am I moving them around? And that brings me to the puzzle pieces, which is basically an abstract game for upgrading your cards, which is really cool, and thematic and such too. It's just really interesting. You're like, okay, so I want to get this piece. So there's so many places on the board that allow you to sort of, every time you move your knowledge of certain thing up, if it passes a little marker, you get to place a puzzle piece of that type. And it's very interesting because it's like, okay, where am I going to place it? Oh, I need the O of red. Okay, I'll grab that. I'll put that here. That's going to allow me to do that. Like it's very clever. It's again, fascinating. The whole game is just different and fascinating. The game has huge high player interaction. Everything everyone else does affects everyone else. And I love that about this game. Someone does one thing and now completely differently, they've added a puzzle piece. Like, oh, wow, now there's 3 green over here in this cluster. So if I move my thing over here adjacent to those 3, now I'm going to be able to, I don't have to worry about getting that 3rd piece anymore. So now I don't have to take that botany action. Now I can take something else, use that action, move that thing there, and now I can upgrade, so it's like everything everybody else does something else with something else. It's awesome. Overall, the game is fantastic. If you like Euro games, crunchy, heavier Euro games, that has lots of player interaction and has lots of replayability, this is definitely one that has that. Anything that I didn't like about the game, the game, it should have a player aid with the actions and the progress condition icons. Granted, it would have to be probably a half sheet, but basically everyone has to take a picture of the rulebook unless they want to pass it around all game long because the upgrade ones are very specific. Some of them, the iconography is pretty good, but you need to know exactly what that is because that drives 2 or 3 turns of your strategy of planning, right? And so I wish there would have been a player aid for all those actions. There isn't. There should have been one. The player colors, they shouldn't have been the same colors as the pages. There shouldn't have been a green, a yellow, a red, because that's writing and botany and the astrology. They should have made different colors. They should have made orange, purple, things like that. Now, maybe for colorblindness, they didn't do that, whatever, but I'm not sure. But they shouldn't have made the player colors the same colors as the pages, because as you're moving knowledge up, sometimes you're like, oh, wait, no, you're green. I'm red. I got to move my botany, which is not green, even though botany is green. It gets a little confusing. And so that should have done it. The crunchiness of this game is part of the positives of this, but it also can induce some analysis paralysis. Some turns are very quick. Some turns are like, hey, I did this, I put a leaf, I moved it, I got 4 botany, that's it. Next turn. Some turns are like, hey, I did this, which gets me this, which gets me this, which gets me this, which let me do this, and I got a puzzle piece from you because you moved me on the path, and I get this. Some of them are like really crunchy turns. And that can lead to analysis paralysis. So if you play with someone that has analysis paralysis, just know this game can induce that. And because of that, the game can outstay its welcome a little bit. It's a longer game. The box is 90 minutes to 2 hours. I think if everybody knows what they're doing and has played it multiple times, that's doable, 30 minutes per player. But in your first few plays, it's not going to be that fast. But overall, it's a great game, very unique. One of the most unique games I've played in a long time, the Voynich Puzzle. It's been the Game Boy Geek, breaking down barriers, growing relationships, support against helping you build the next one you love.
Game Toppers upgrades every game you play, being the one table to rule them all with Game Toppers, leg kits, dining covers, premium game mats, and more. And for a limited time only, my US and Canadian audience can get 15% off their premium game mats and accessories using the promo code GameBoyGeek15OFF. Also, go to GameToppersLLC.com to check out all the options or for worldwide late pledges of their recent 5.0 Kickstarter.